what did you just luckily miss from this timeline jump? Hi, beautiful soul. Thank you for joining me, Mystic Mia, here on Mostly in the Moment for another spiritual pick a card reading. This is kind of like an energetic reading of what happened during this timeline jump. So this is a timeless reading, but I'm recording this after the US election in 2024. And whatever you think about it, the timeline that you're on now is a higher frequency timeline. And there's a lot of proof behind it that a lot of people who don't know are going to see in the next few years. Trust me, I've been on a side where I thought that this kind of results was not good, but I just had my awakening the last time this happened. And I was like, you know what? This is going to help mirror a lot of the anger and issues that's in the collective. This is a good thing, And I've since come around and done a lot of research, part of the truther movement and becoming aware of the truth out there, connecting a lot to my higher guidance, and went on this whole spiritual journey. And I'm here to tell you that this is the higher frequency timeline. This is the shift to 5D or the start of it. It is happening on an individual level for a lot of us who awakened individually before 2020. Those that are waking up after 2020 or 2020 and beyond. And there's a great awakening happening now as this timeline shift happens, because you're on this path now, and so there's nothing to do but to go further into your spiritual journey with the healing and everything. There's two groups. There's the folks that have done it individually before 2020, and those who are deciding to do it as a collective great awakening. And there's pros and cons to both of them. But yeah, in this reading, I have two parts to each of the piles. The first part is the collective energy, and the second part is personal energies. And the collective energies, you can look at any one of them. But the pile that you choose is going to be the slice of this timeline shift energy that you might find most interesting, or that might apply to your life the most. You can listen to all three of the collective energies if you want to get a better idea of what this timeline shift really is and what it looks like. For the personal energies, you can definitely pick any pile. You don't have to pick the same pile of the collective energy if you don't want. But yeah, this is a really, really great celebratory energy. If you don't believe me, watch a lot of my spiritual pick a card readings and energy forecasts, and you'll see that there are so many good things to come. This is just the beginning. I put all the information in these piles, so if you want to hear more, you can definitely listen to that with the timestamps below. This is a timeless reading, but this energy is starting around the time of election, November 2024. But it goes into next year, 2025, 2026, and then even into 2027. So this is going to be relevant for a while. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the reading, and I wish you much love and light. Welcome, Pile 1, to the first half of the read for the collective. Let's see what you just missed and what's happening instead. All right, so let's look at, what you just barely missed with something that happened in the collective that's, applies to you in your life, what you find most interesting. Okay, Queen of Cups and telepathy. Okay, so I feel like there was going to be like a collective healing. I feel like you just jumped on to this wave. Like you were at the cutoff point. There's a bunch of people awakening and in the collective right now, all around the world. And they are waking up to a higher power, that, the unseen energies are real, and, this divine energy is real, and what that means for them, what that means for humanity, how powerful we actually are. And I feel like however far along you've been on your awakening journey, whether you just started or you've been on it for a little while, I feel like you just made the cut to be able to not be tied to the collective that's waking up. So So the awakening waves for our lifetimes started kind of in the 50s and 60s. That's when the first wave was. And then the second wave in like the 80s, or people who are born in the 80s. And then the third wave is kind of now, with awakenings happening in the 2000s and 2010s. Like there was awakening period in 2000, the year 2000, around 2011, 2012, around 2017, and of course 2020. So there's more rapid awakenings happening now. But there's like people who were born in the 50s, 70s, and 80s. They were kind of in an earlier wave. And there was kind of like a cutoff, like people who started waking up before COVID, before 2020. They are kind of they're the cutoff for the wave that will be that went through the awakening individually. The rest of the collective decided to go through the awakening, the Great Awakening, together, and they will go through a lot of healing together. Whereas the people who awakened before in the earlier waves went through their spiritual journey mostly on their own, and kind of it took a little bit longer. You had to figure everything out. Whereas the collective, they're going to be kind of going through this collective pain, hate, and anger, releasing that, kind of purging it, transmuting it, and everything, finding out who they are, their purpose in life, and all that stuff in the beginning of the journey together. And it's going to be crazy. So you just missed that. You just got the cutoff. You just made the cutoff for where you don't have to deal with doing that with a collective, which has its pros and cons. Like people who are born here wanting to go through that awakening together, and people who want to go through it individually. Obviously, going through it individually was way more tougher, incredibly hard. It's not for the faint of heart, you know. But I don't envy what the collective is going to be going through. Although they probably wouldn't envy what we went through too. Like it was definitely much more of a challenge to do this spiritual awakening alone. But our souls kind of fought for this kind of position, for this kind of role in life, because it's like an honor to serve the light in this way that we are. So you just missed that cutoff point. And there are people who started their spiritual journey, but they just didn't get further along. Maybe they didn't spend enough time doing their inner work. They were kind of caught up in 3D work and 3D relationships, you know? And so they didn't get the time to go, you know, do the spiritual work, the inner work that they needed to do. And that might be another reason that you did. A lot of people didn't make the cutoff, you know, but you did. So that's great. What would have been like if you, sorry, it's the wrong card. 10 of Swords. Yeah. 10 of Swords. Incredibly difficult. It's going to kill a lot of people. Sorry. I forget. I can't be too blunt on this channel. Yeah. You're going to see a lot of people not handle it and move on. Sorry. That's the truth of it. It's not going to be pleasant, because even though it's going to be obviously as difficult for people who are in the higher waves, who are kind of prepared for this, it's still not easy if you see a loved one pass away, or if you see a lot of chaos in the world. Light workers are being told to kind of move away from this chaos in the initial stages, because you don't have to go through it again. You've went through a lot of trauma and dark experiences in your own life that you had to overcome. You don't have to go through it with the collective. It's not for you to go through, you know. You're going to be actually encouraged to not help them, because in the beginning, it's not going to be helpful for you to kind of stick your nose in there. They have to figure a lot of things out themselves. You might actually delay their progress. So it's kind of like, you know, you have to kind of let it happen. Unless someone approaches you and wants your helps, that's a different story. But yeah, it's going to be chaos, and you're meant to kind of keep the vibes high. you're meant to keep the frequency high for the whole collective. That's what you can do. And the best way to do that is to separate yourself, be with other high frequency folks, and keep doing high frequency things in your day. Rebirth, giving yourself a second chance. Yeah. If you didn't make this cutoff, it would be kind of similar going through a spiritual awakening again. Do you know how there's some people who have to continuously go through Dark Night of the Souls, have tower moments, Dark Night of the Soul, tower moments, Dark Night of the Soul, because they're not getting it. They're not waking up to what they need to wake up to. It's like, that wasn't the right career path for you. That wasn't the right relationship. That is not the way you're supposed to live this life. You're not living authentically. You know, like, for example, I kind of kept going into the same career path that I got a degree in. I kept going and going, and every time I got a new job in that line of work, it was like like I did well, but then it was like a tower moment, crash and burn, and like it was because I was not meant to be in that line of work, or like even like a relationship where you just kept picking the wrong people, or maybe living in the wrong area for you. You know, whatever you were doing that was not authentic. So you would have just went through another like Dark Night of the Soul, but it would have been one that would have been like near death for you. So you missed a big one, pile one. Missed a big one. If you're just watching this pile because you just want to see what's going on with the collective energies, what this timeline jump means, you can kind of see what a big deal this timeline jump was. It was the biggest deal. It's the biggest deal in our human history. We're going to look back at this time and be like, wow, like that moment changed everything before and after built up to this one moment. All right, so what's happening instead? Let's look at some good stuff coming in for you. Seven of Pentacles. Embrace change. There's change coming. So I'm getting that you're going to see a lot of things change because you are going on a different path than how the other half of the collective want to go through this. I keep saying other half, but it's like the majority of the population here on Earth currently are going to go through this collective awakening by themselves, together, whereas you might have gone through it by yourself. So things are going to significantly change for you because their awakening is going to mirror your awakening, but you're awakening to this new 5D energy, which is going to be completely different than this 3D energy you've been living and that you've been healing and, you know, surviving through. It's going to be a different energy that you're going into, that you're going to be keeping consistently. All right, so hidden realms. Create conscious awareness. Yeah, see, like you're going into the 5D, and I've been talking about this, and this message keeps coming up, and so you know, like this is happening on a really big scale. This actually came up in my October monthly forecast. This is a timeless reading, but you know, obviously around the end of 2024, and this will apply in 2025, 2026, even going into 2027, because it kind of depends on when you reach this energy. But I'm reading for the people, when I post it, for the people who are ahead of the curve, who are on these waves and understand what's happening. This will still help people as we move into, you know, Pluto into Aquarius, Age of Aquarius, into the Golden Age. So yeah, you're going to be connecting with higher level of consciousness, higher dimensional beings and entities and realms, and being able to connect to your higher self and source energy stronger. So being able to download more energy, more information, more ideas. You're going to be implementing these ideas in the physical. Okay, so what kind of ideas, what kind of things? How's this going to look for you? The Empress. In reverse, first of all, you're going to have everything you need to take care of yourself in the way that you want to. So if you have been talking to yourself about wanting to live a more self-sustaining life, you know, you want to have more animals, you want to have more bigger garden or a farm, small farm or big farm. If you want to have your own business, if you want to work from home, if you want to create a family or get more like soul family together to live closer together, if you want to connect with more like-minded people, if you want to move into a line of work that you feel resonates for you, if you want to go into more natural healing modalities. If you want to have more time to work on your spiritual practices, be able to meditate, have a more peaceful life, be able to go on nature walks without so much noise pollution, be able to look at the stars without so much light pollution. This is your sign that that's going to happen. You're going to be given the things that you need to have maintain a very high frequency body, meaning you're going to be given the abundance, the money, finances, material wealth, land even, to maintain a high frequency body and lifestyle. So you don't have to worry about that. You can just worry about keeping your frequency high, because that is a really important job. One person keeping their frequency really, really high can help 10 people who have negative energies, 100, 1,000, 10, 100,000 people. That's how powerful one person keeping their frequency really, really high can affect the collective. So it's really important. You've been trained for this, because a lot of people, they can go into 5D energies or mental state, and then they go back down, right? They're going back and forth between 3D and 5D. You've been trained. You are mentally strong. You're a master of your mental faculties. You have a lot of self-discipline. You've been practicing. You know how to keep yourself in 5D energies, and that's what's necessary right now. Like keeping yourself in 5D energy consistently. And it's not while helping other people or working on a project to save the world or cleaning up your neighborhood. No, it's literally just living a high frequency life, taking care of yourself, maybe taking care of like the few people around you that you're responsible for, taking care of your home, taking care of your body, taking care of your spiritual practices, your connection to nature. That's it. That's what you need to be focusing on. While the collective goes through their awakening, because that is going to be such dark energy. Do you understand? You understand. It's going to be a dark night of the soul for the entire collective that has not awakened or is in their awakening process. You know, it's going to be scary. It's going to be dangerous. Balance. Take time to relax, indulge a little more or a little less. Set boundaries with your work. Yeah, see? It's not like you aren't going to be working. It's just that like it's going to fit in with this lifestyle where you keep a high frequency 5D energy. Like I said, you're going to be at home with your family more. You're maybe working from home, working close to home, working with your community more, you know, working online or working behind the scenes a lot more. So it's just going to be kind of like you're in your own little 5D bubble while you get to practice these being in this 5D energy. Because as the collective is like, you know, getting ready for that, has that tower moment and is going through that dark night of the soul, you know, you have your tower moment is more of like going through the gates of like 5D energy. It's like it's a different version of that energy. It's a little bit shocking. It's a little bit different. You still get to adjust to it. You know how like the dark night of the soul kind of shows people how to like it kind of gives them a really difficult time in order to kind of do something about changing it and giving them time to like dwell on it, focus on what's wrong, and like really bring it to their attention. You moving into 5D energy is kind of like similar. You know, you're going through these gates and everything is there for you. There are resources, the abundance, you know, the people, the whatever you need, you know. And so it's kind of like now you just got to put it into practice. Now you have to do all these things and get used to living that lifestyle, and it takes a little moment. You know, you don't become like a homesteader overnight. It takes some time, knowledge, practice, you know, getting things right. And it's kind of like that kind of energy. Not saying that everyone's going to be a homesteader, but I'm just saying like, you know, whatever this 5D energy is for you, you know, whether you're an author living in the city or, you know, you like to work with your hands and you like building things and you build buildings or furniture community, or you teaching or whatever it is, like I do feel like you're going to be doing something that's like a little bit more hermit mode, something that's a little bit more where you can be behind the scenes. But you don't have to be technically out in the burbs, you know, out in like nowhere land. I think a lot of you will be in more nature, but I feel there are still gonna be some in like cities and in suburbs and things like that. But it's just kind of, it's gonna definitely have like a 5D bubble around it. So that's the collective energy that will probably resonate with you the most, Pile 1. Yeah, because I'm saying, like, even if you're not the one who just barely made the cutoff point, you might be friends or know a lot of people who just made the cutoff point. You know, it might have been you who awakened these friends and these family members or these coworkers or something. So this might not necessarily be you that just made the cutoff point. You might have been awakened for a long time. It could be you. You could be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I just woke up recently and found out the truth. But I feel like you know people who kind of just made the cutoff, and that's why this pile is applicable to you. And you're gonna see a lot of people who didn't make that cutoff and has to go through like a darker night of the soul, which you probably had to go through yourself. Like, you know, something wasn't dark enough, you had to get an even darker experience to finally fully wake up. Not everyone has to go through that experience, but most people do. Like, I feel like 1 or 2%, like, of the awakening population, which is like very small percentage, actually don't have to go through like this awakening process. They follow their intuition and they actually rise to like raise their energy without having to go through too many difficult situations. But that's like very, very few people. Most people go through like so many dark night of souls, and a lot of people signed up for that because if this is your last lifetime here, you kind of want to go through, finish up all your karma, and kind of have any experiences that you might want to have while you are still want to come down here to Earth one last time, you know? Okay. So, pile 1, I hope you like that collective energy for the first part of the reading. You can pick the same pile 1, for the personal level of reading, or you can pick another pile number. But I'm going to move on to that second one now. But love and light if I'm not seeing you in the next pile. Hi, pile 1, for the personal read. What is something you just missed from this timeline jump? And what is happening for you instead? All right, so let's see what you luckily skipped out on. Letter, message, speech, okay. And sextile, a combination of tension and flow, potential, a rewarding situation. Okay, so I'm getting you're about to get an opportunity that would have just kept you strung along. This could be a work opportunity. This could be a romantic situation. This could be someone coming back, a romantic situation coming back that you were already kind of done with, or it could have been a work situation that would have kept you coming back. Like, it would have been like, oh, it's a little bit higher pay. Like, oh, they gave me that role that I wanted, but like, you know, it was while I was on my way out. Like, maybe I should stick with it. It was something like that. You know, your lease got extended, or, you know, whatever it is, that might have made you stay. Like, oh, my sibling is just about to have a baby, maybe I should stick around and live here a little bit longer. You know, like, or my, you know, grandkid is around here, or, you know, like, why don't I just do this for a little bit longer? Why don't I just try this out? Why don't I just keep it for another 6 months, a year, you know, a couple of years, see how it goes? You would have been kept stuck in a situationship that you wouldn't have liked. That would have just kept you dragging, like, it would have just kept dragging on, being like not giving you a yes or a no. Like, it would have been good at times and then like not good at times. And it's like you'll keep questioning yourself and like second guessing yourself, like, should I stay, should I go, should I stay, should I go? Like, that would have just continued for the next like 6 months, year and a half, almost 2 years for some of you. So that's something that you luckily missed out on, because I think you're at a place where you could have been almost convinced to stay, but luckily your energies rose. Yes, 4 of Wands. Yes, you might have. Dang. Oh, Cupid's arrow. Hey, have faith, love is coming. I feel like you would have, if it was love, you would have just married this person. If it was a job, you would have just stayed. Like, you would have thought like, hey, I'll just stay here for 6 months or a year or 2 years. And it might have ended up being like decades. It would have took up your whole life, or like most of your life. and you'd be like kind of like, oh, they're gonna step up, they're gonna show me the love that I want, or they're gonna eventually get married to me, or oh, this marriage is eventually gonna turn into one that I like I see it, like this gonna happen, it's gonna happen, or like they're gonna get me this job, like I'm gonna get this position, I'm so close, I've been so close for so long, like they have to give it to me, like if I stay a little bit longer, it's gonna happen, you know. And I feel like it's that kind of energy. And you would have kept going like that for like, I'm getting like a decade or two. Like, and then towards the end of that situation, you'd be second guessing yourself again. Like, oh, should I leave? Should I leave? Should I leave? Like, you know, for like a very long time, like 5 years, 7 years, you know? So it's a really good thing that you missed this situation, because, if it came in, you might have said, yeah, let me hold on for a little bit and see how this goes. But what are you getting instead? Play. This is the Knight of Cups and the North Star. Flip your inner light switch. So this really awesome situation comes in that allows you to play. So whatever situation you might have been stuck in, whether it's this relationship or living situation or work situation, whatever it was that you might have kept yourself stuck in, was kind of like a fallback. It was a safety. It's not something you wanted. It's just something that you would hope would change, but never would, you know? But what you're getting instead is something that inspires you, something that you actually have fun in. So if this is a relationship or a work situation, or a living situation, or whatever, lifestyle, like it's following your North Star, like your purpose in life, what you've always wanted, what you always dreamed for, that makes it fun, that makes it exciting to live. It gives you a sense of adventure and a comfort, and this is right, this seems like so me. No second guessing. This is the right opportunity. That comes in instead. So you dodged one, pile one. You definitely did. You would have ended up being stuck. Yeah, wow. Okay, so what else about this coming in? What would it look like? 5 of Pentacles in reverse. There's this feeling of like, I can't believe, like when this situation, this opportunity comes to you, and it might be more than one situation, but when this opportunity comes to you, you're gonna be like, I can't imagine my life without this person, or without this opportunity, or without this situation. Like, I can't believe I almost like didn't hold out for this. Like, I can't imagine my life without this person, or this home, or this like job, or this work, or this like life. You know, it's kind of, it'll make you sad. Like, you know how in this situation you kind of think like, oh, what if I left? In this situation, you're gonna be like, oh my goodness, what if I never left? What if I didn't hold out for this opportunity, you know? So you'd rather be in this situation than that situation, right? And so you're like always like thankful. You always have such gratitude, and you think back to this moment a lot, being like, oh my goodness, I can't believe, like, I probably wouldn't have had this situation happen. Like, I think I would always have jumped to this timeline. I think I would have always raised my energy, but there was a small chance that I would have been stuck, you know? So there's this energy of just like, oh my god, like, you look back at this time and really are grateful. There's so much gratitude. Adjustments are required. Yeah, there's this energy that you're gonna have to change a lot of things, because this is it. The North Star, this Knight of Cups, this is the opportunity to go big or to go home. And you know, you're kind of already saying goodbye to your old life, but you recognize that there's like a few things that you need to change with the 5 here, the Pentacles, in order to move into this new life. So I feel like a lot of things are going to be changing, and so it might be overwhelming, but it's like, you know, this is like the life that you're meant to live. So there might be a huge situation, like a change in your social life. So the people that you normally hang out with, live around, or even the person that you're dating or currently partnered up with or will be partnered up with, that's there's a whole change in the people around you. There's a change in living situation, probably I'm getting a change in work and financial situation, a change in health and a change in lifestyle. So there's so many, I feel like there's so many moving parts, but like this is it. This is your North Star. This is what you've always meant to kind of the life you've always meant to lead. And it's fun. These changes that come in are fun because they're around the right person. They're around the right people, the right opportunities. So there's a lot of change, but the change comes in the form of a lot of fun. It might be a little bit overwhelming about how much change it is, but it's still fun kind of figuring this out and integrating it into your life. It's like going to a life that's truly authentic to you. This is how this is a timeline jump, because you almost had this life and now instead you're having this life. So pile one, congratulations. This is a very exciting time. I wish you all the best. And I picked kind of, this is a timeless reading, so I picked kind of like a time frame a little bit so you can kind of get an idea of when this might happen. And I'm getting maybe in a couple of full moons from now, so maybe within a couple of months ish is when you might start seeing this kind of really come through. I'm getting, because it came out reverse the next full moon, that's usually my sign of like up until then. So like for anywhere from now to another like few months, another couple months, you might really see this energy switch for you. It's already starting. It's already in your energies. You might be you might have already made that timeline jump and shift, but you might not see it in the physical until a couple months from now. But if you're very like attuned with your energies, if you're highly spiritual and you're very connected, you're gonna start seeing it now, and it's going to be very obvious. All right, pile one. Hope you have a beautiful rest of the day. If you like this reading, I really appreciate a like or comment. And with that, I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day. And I wish you much love and light. Yeah. Hi, pile two. With the collective energy for this timeline jump, what you just luckily missed out on and what's happening instead. You can definitely watch all the collective energy piles, first half of each reading, if you want like a full kind of picture of what this timeline shift fully means for the collective. But this pile specifically for you, pile two, is going to be like things that you might find interesting that applies to your life, the little slice that you might want to know. Okay, so let's get started. What the collective energy just missed. The Emperor. Earthly power, and it came out in reverse. You saw that? That is crazy. Okay, so definitely there were a lot of people who had too much power on this earthly plane. Fertility, powerful creative energy, and not enough feminine energy. The feminine energy was hurt. It was being hurt, and the feminine energy is spirituality. It's connecting to our divine nature. It's paying attention to our intuition and having that intuition play a bigger role than it has in our society. So you can see that, math and science kind of took over the world, and this kind of masculine way of thinking, practical, scientific, just logically and scientifically, didn't allow for much growth. I always thought that spirituality is science that hasn't been proven yet with evidence, but I felt like the best scientists were those that believed that unless you have evidence to disprove it as well, that you have to be open to the possibility of like a higher power or such, which is why when I saw some of the best minds, like Stephen Hawkins and what was Carl Sagan's student? Neil deGrasse Tyson, when they both said like, oh, God doesn't exist, I was like heartbroken as when I was younger. So like, oh no, are you kidding me? Like some of my like people that society look up to for intellectual ideas, and you're saying that God doesn't exist. I'm like, you're discredited in my mind now, because the best minds in the world know that you have to leave your mind open to possibilities. That's how you become better. That's how you get innovate. That's how you get new ideas. That's how you get inventions. That's how you progress. So yeah, there was a lack of feminine energy, and it's like that's how we were indoctrinated, right? Like we have to go to school and we have to learn these physical things, how to write, language, and read, right? How to which language in itself teaches you how to see things. Different languages give you different perceptions of the world. For example, that movie Arrival. I love that movie with the ETs that arrive and they write in the circle form, and like there's like 10 girls out of that circle, and like they speak to people not in the past, present, and future tense, but everything is in the present tense. And there have been ancient like Mayan tribes, I think, ancient Mayan tribes that didn't their language, they didn't use past or future tense. They used everything was in present tense, and so that changes the way that you see the world, and therefore our thoughts manifest our reality. So therefore their reality was slightly different. People back in the day, ancient times, their reality and therefore the earth behaved differently because of the way that they thought and the way the thought manifested. So if you kind of tell everyone to think masculine in masculine ways, you're bringing people down into this 3D world and trapping them into this matrix, into this physical realm. Without the connection to the divine, you're living a completely different life than we are meant to as human beings in this lifetime. How are we meant to? Divinely connected. We were supposed to have a physical experience while we're connected to the divine. And they're keeping the secret to themselves. The best CEOs, people who make the most money, the best leaders, they have a really high intuition as well. Whether they're male or female, doesn't matter. They have high intuition, and they practice that ability, that skill set, using their intuitive skills. They practice that ability from when they are young, so their intuition is really, really on point, and that's when they make the best business decisions, predict trends, have innovative ideas, and like Steve Jobs, you can see like he had a lot of practices that helped with his intuition. He did calligraphy. He went to India to temples to learn. Even like Einstein and Tesla, they learned how to kind of access the astral plane. Einstein would sleep in this kind of like metal tube, and then he would have like this thing that would like jerk his like hand, so he kind of was in that like in between state. When you wake up and go to sleep, that's when you're most connected to your higher self. And you can kind of even like hear them sometimes, or they'll show you the most important things you need to know, like because you're like really in that really relaxed state, but kind of still conscious a little bit. So they learned how to access a state, which is why they were able to kind of download all these beautiful equations. But anyway, I digress. What were we talking about? We were talking about this lack of respect for the feminine energies and balanced masculine and feminine energies within us. You can see that like they cut like art and music programs in school. That was the first thing to be cut. That's crazy. And they don't teach kids how to like how to detect when you made someone sad, or if you made like and how to interact with other kids, how to deal with a situation if someone's angry, how to calm yourself down if you're angry, how to be introspective. So you can see that there's like an agenda to be more masculine minded in society, and that's something that you we missed pile 2. You and I, and we all kind of jumped onto this new timeline. Thank goodness we're here. And that's something we're going to see a drastic shift in. Okay, so what did this look like? Just an example. Look, 2 emperors. Oh, they wouldn't have let go of power. They were fighting tooth and nail to the end. They have been fighting tooth and nail to the end, because if you have that kind of power, you don't want to let go of it. You will do anything to keep holding on to it. And they have. They have. Especially when they know what karma they're going to have to face if they let it go too, you know? Oh, this is the wrong pile. This is not the pile. Okay, anyway. Knowledge. Yeah, I was supposed to pick this pile, so I'm going to check. Moon. I'll keep this card because I already pulled it, the Emperor. But it's kind of like a spirit just being like, yes, confirmed. You can see, like, when I channel straight from source, it just flows. And I have no idea what I'm saying until after I look back and listen to it. I mean, I kind of hear what they're saying, but it's like going so fast, I don't really... Anyway, the moon. So confusion with knowledge. They were to continue confusing the collective with false knowledge. Or, like, they can't completely lie to the collective because they've done experiments, and if you lie to a human, like 100%, they go into psychosis. Their psyche breaks down and they die. So they have to tell the collective enough truth that we don't, like, die, so they can keep using us for our energy, right? But they also have to get our consent so that they can lie to us, which they do in different ways. So, like, for example, if you, like, watch TV, if you turn it on, you're consenting to watch that show, so therefore you're giving them consent for them to lie to you, and things like that, you know? So, like, you have to be, like, careful with what kind of energy you consume, because it comes in so many different ways. Yeah. All right, so what is happening instead? What's happening instead? Ace of Pentacles, one source. I love it. Okay, so an opportunity. Galactic healer. Wow. Move forward with an open mind. Oh, wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. So you're getting an opportunity. The collective is getting an opportunity to expand their minds and become healers. What we do on this plane, this physical earthly plane, us humans, we have the DNA of multiple ETs, right? We have ancestry that goes beyond this race, right? People mess with our DNA. You can tell because if you've studied genetics, even what's happening currently, it's not like it's easy to see. Like, there's proof everywhere in our DNA. There are kids being born with multiple strand DNAs. 3, 4, 6, even 6. But there are kids being born today with more strands of DNA. You can see when you look at our genes, when you look at the makeup of our DNA, there are places where you can see where things were cut and paste, you know? So it's like, if people just took the time to kind of study and look at these things, like, you can tell, like, oh yeah, like, we didn't just evolve from apes. There were a lot of different races of Homo sapiens, and even before that. Even, in fact, I had a meditation recently, and I connected to the Hindu god Hanuman, who I've never really connected on that deep level before. Like a lot of gods and goddesses I don't connect on too deeply because I have my own thoughts on deities, but I do connect with a lot of like angels and ET races. But yeah, definitely like Jesus I don't connect with too much because that's not the religion I grew up with. I even had more connection with Mary Magdalene than I did Jesus, but I have connected with Jesus once, but not on a deep level really. Like Kuan Yin I have a really deep connection with, and I didn't even know about her. I never even heard about her back in the day, and like I had a deep connection with her, and then I learned more about her after the fact, and she helped me a lot out in life. So there's a lot of energies that I connect to and don't connect to. I don't specifically look out for Hindu gods and goddesses because that's the religion I grew up in, and I don't really connect too much with that either. But yeah, Hanuman came to me, and he is like quote unquote the monkey god, but I learned his history after he came to me. So like I see, this is what happens. Like I get an energy. It's like, oh, this is Archangel Gabriel, but I don't know it's Archangel Gabriel. I can just see like what what they're showing me, and then afterwards I look it up and I see like a lot of people had the same experiences when they connected to them, and this is how you know it's them, and this is what the kind of angel they're about. This is probably why they're in your life and stuff like that. And I kind of intuitively kind of figure out some stuff too. So I connect with them, and then I immediately after get information randomly about them. And so with Hanuman actually came from a race of humans that were more primate like. And I was like, oh, that's so interesting because Hinduism is a religion that goes way back that they don't even know when it started. And so obviously it started at a time when, there were still like multiple races of humans still living on this planet. But yeah, so we have our DNA connected to a lot of different ET races. And so we're like a petri dish. That's not the best way to put it, but they're kind of whatever we heal, whatever we solve, whatever we get through affects everyone else's DNA that we're connected to. Isn't that crazy? So if we heal as a collective, we are healing for like dozens and dozens of other ET races. There's like, I think 20, 21, 22 or something that I heard of that people know that we're definitely connected to, but I'm not sure of if there's more or not. But that's why there's so many ETs watching us and wanting us to succeed, and that we have access to if you open your mind here. So I think a lot of people are going to be connecting to, first of all, source energy directly. I'm a mystic. That's what I do. I connect to source energy directly. I used to do it mainly through meditation, but obviously through science synchronicity, you're always connected to source energy. So you're going to see a lot of people wake up. It's like this, you turn a key or something. You turn on the water fountain and people just start connecting to the divine. Like it's just like all these lights popping up, and everyone's like, you can see like the swirls and everyone, like all the lights turning on and people like light coming out of people's head and connecting to the divine. Like everyone's like connecting source energy. And there's going to be a whole thing, a whole movement of people healing using intuitive means. There's a lot of like practicing medicine and like, the hospitals nowadays through the medical programs that people went through in school, right? And a lot of people know, like, there's a lot of natural remedies that help with a lot of things. You probably, if you have a culture that goes back and has a lot of natural remedies, or you have a friend who that has like a mom or their grandmother who just knows all these like natural remedies and stuff like that, there's a ton of books on it, like on like ever since TikTok started. There's like a whole thing of just like natural remedies here and there. Some people think it's fake or fraud, but there's a lot of good ones. You know, they're more helpful and good ones than there are fake ones. You know, obviously people are gonna try to corrupt anything if it's related to a business and they can make a buck off of it, but that's not what I'm talking about. People are using their intuition. There's going to be research done using intuition. I feel like this plant is going to work with this plant. I meditated with this plant. You know, there's a lot of ways to connect to the spirit of a plant. You might want to, if you want to do that, you might want to start with, first of all, looking at a different resource than me, to find out how to do it. But like if you, for example, want to connect to, the spirit of, I was like, someone did it like a mushroom, a specific kind of mushroom, but I did it with white sage. You know, you like fast and you don't eat, or you all you do is eat the plant, and it will appear to you in while you're dreaming, or just in an awakened state. Who was it? There was like a spiritual person, Victor Odo. He was talking about how his wife was doing this. She was connecting to this like spirit of this like specific plant. I think it was mushroom, and she like fasted and didn't eat anything but the mushroom a little bit, and meditate with it and stuff like that. And he was sleeping with alongside her one day, and then while she was sleeping he saw this like spirit of that mushroom like floating above her, and he was like freaking out. He's like, what is that? I did something similar with like white sage. I didn't fast for like 3 days, but like I fasted for like a day, and I smoked it. I smoked the white sage, and like, you know, I saged around me, and I was like holding the sage while I like meditated and stuff. And the spirit of the sage came through for me, and I was like, wow, this is like mind blowing. This is like so cool. So like people are gonna be doing that with like plants, with like different trees and nature, with water, with bodies of water and stuff like that, which is gonna be really cool. And just intuitively knowing and picking up like what can heal you. And you know, when you like have that kind of knowledge and you can access the collective consciousness, you don't need to write it down. It's like someone already has that information available for you to like, you know, connect with and download. So it's like if one person makes a discovery, everyone gets that, whoever's connected, right, to the collective consciousness. So yeah, connecting with ETs, connecting with nature, connecting with the collective consciousness, that's going to be definitely on the agenda. But like the main thing here is that you're going to see a explosion of people doing like counseling, therapy, all intuitively, all psychically, all spiritual therapy and consulting and healing, nutrition and everything, like purpose work. And you know, like there's going to be connecting with other people. Yeah, it's just gonna explode, and then like I think we're gonna go back and connect it to more physical oriented work and stuff, goals after that. But like since we've been so repressed for such a long time, our spiritual side, it's gonna be an explosion, more art, music, creativity, and things like that. All right, so how might that look? I think I gave a pretty good image, but King of Pentacles. And past life, like I love this guy. To me, kind of looks like someone who's like a therapist or something, but I like it. It's kind of like it's like a fun therapy office. You get a drink. You got all these like potion herbs in the back. You know, got some grapes, got some incense, got some plants. It still has some tech in there, really high tech, but it's still fun with colors and all these knickknacks. Okay. And past life. There's gonna be so many people who do past life regressions and QHHT and all that. So you're gonna see a huge uptake in those occupations in this decade. in the next couple of decades, like age of Aquarius is where people are like into the weird new agey stuff, like let's go, you know. And then after that it's gonna be age of we're going to go into Pluto and Pisces, where people become super spiritual. So I feel like in this like next couple of decades, the spiritual side of the world is going to grow intensely. And by the time we get into Pluto into Pisces in a couple of decades, like we're already going to be in that high vibe. Like everyone's going to be awakened, have done their spiritual work, and we're going to be in that 5D energy, all of us together, right? All right, so pile 2, I hope you enjoyed that slice of the collective energy for this timeline jump. You can stick around for the pile 2 personal level of this timeline jump, or you can pick a different number if you like. If I don't see you in the next part, I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day, and I wish you much love and light. Hi, pile 2. For the personal level read of this timeline shift, what have you just luckily missed and what is happening instead? So let's get started. What did you just luckily skip? Bouquet. Okay, that's a joy and happiness kind of energy. And Sagittarius, optimism, exploration, and freedom. Okay, so with bouquet, it can be pleasure, gifts, abundance, love. And Sagittarius is optimism, exploration, and freedom. Okay, so I am getting like, there's this theory, and I forget, it's like from that channel After School, who does like a lot of like it's like an illustration over like intelligent people, philosophers, and thought leaders like talking. And there was this one guy who was talking about like, oh yeah, like humanity will do everything that's possible. Like if there's a possibility, if there's something you can do, we will make it happen. For example, if you want to have children between 3 people, like between 2 of the same sex, or 3 different people, and why stop at 3? Why not make it 5 or 10 people, making a child from 10 different DNAs, you know? And like people will keep pushing things and pushing things and pushing things because that's just the way that people are. And I disagree with that theory. I think that there's a possibility. I think there's a timeline where that's a possibility. I think it's a negative timeline because it becomes very perverse, and it's a low frequency vibration to keep perversing ideas to a point where it becomes not useful for the collective. It's not helpful for the collective. It's self-seeking pleasure. It's self-indulgent. Like I don't think those are the qualities that we want for humanity. I feel like there's definitely a line that you can cross. Where it's just like, okay, this crosses a line from being helpful to humanity and pleasurable for the individual to just being like not helpful for humanity and just too far gone, too far into the abyss, right? I think you kind of saved yourself, pal, too, from going on a very like self-indulgent lifestyle, like to the point where you're just like pleasure seeking all the time, you know, which is and I'm getting not in the best way, you know, like it wouldn't be helping you evolve, grow, and evolve. It would just be kind of detrimental. You know, there's like pleasure seeking where you kind of are following your heart and you're pursuing creative hobbies that you like, you know, trying new things, having new experiences, trying new food, exploring new cultures and languages, and exploring different topics you're interested in. Maybe, you know, being creative in relationships and, you know, in different ways. But then there's just like the self-indulgent, pleasure-seeking way of life, which doesn't contribute to your community. It's not really having a purpose in life. It's not really finding meaning, having a hedonistic life where it's just like nothing else matters. God doesn't even exist. What you do in this lifetime doesn't matter. You just close your eyes, turns black, you're 6 feet in the ground. That's it. There's like a difference between these lifestyles, like the way you live life. If you think that a higher power doesn't exist and that there's no repercussions for your actions, you're going to live like a morally questionable life, right? It's going to be egotistical, it's going to be self-indulging, it's going to be selfish, it's going to be pleasure-seeking, right? Whereas if you believe that you have a purpose here in life, that there is a higher power, that there is like meaning to the way that you do things and live life, there's consequences to bad choices, that there's always a way to kind of learn and grow and make better choices and become a better person and achieve self-mastery. You can see how these two different individuals would live a completely different life, right? I feel like pile 2, like whether you've never been this way or you've kind of been this way throughout your life or you are this way right now, like it feels like sharp turn, I feel like even some of you who are never really kind of even thought about going in that direction very deeply, I feel like if you didn't jump into this timeline, the way the other timeline would have crashed and burned so hard, it would have been so difficult for you to avoid that. There's a lot of people who didn't choose to move forward to the 5D timeline. And they're going to go through that cycle of awakening, which is like a 26 to 50 something thousand year cycle. And that's fine. They might be newer souls that would be more easily influenced. If they didn't jump onto this timeline, they would have been more easily influenced and kind of been like, hey, the world is burning anyway. Might as well kind of, and imagine like a whole society, and you've seen it in videos and sci-fi shows because they're trying to get people to stay on that timeline where it's kind of like you're out for yourself, dog eat dog world, like, it's like kill or be killed kind of life. Like, do you see how many sci-fi shows are dystopian and kind of have that like end of the world, apocalyptic kind of themes? Wonder why? Wonder what their motive was, the dark forces, to have that energy, and why people are so like feel like it's okay to be selfish in this lifetime, right? I feel like you skip that, or you might have seen people around you skip that. It's kind of scary, huh? To think of like, oh, like imagine if you were stuck in that kind of world. Like you kind of have to like adapt, right? But luckily, you jumped timelines, pile 2. Okay, so let's see what that would look like. 4 cups, yeah, see? Like I don't care. I don't care about any of this. Kind of more. I'm also getting you would have missed your chance at love. I feel like you would have became like that kind of person who just like, it's better not to believe in love. That way you don't have to get your heart broken. You would live in a world where people wouldn't trust each other. It'd be hard. You can't really love if you can't trust anyone. Always yearning for love but never getting it. Having opportunities of love come into your life but saying no because of this reason or that reason. Yeah, pile 2, I feel like this is like, I feel like you would have had a complete change in personality, lifestyle, outlook on life. Like, this is a bleak world. It feels like Walking Dead over here, Not even Walking Dead. At least in Walking Dead, they had people, like, groups and communities. This is kind of like so apocalyptic. That's so scary. That's more scary to me than I think anything to not like scary, but like kind of like um difficult to imagine. I don't even want to imagine it, to live in a world like that. Absolutely not. It's gonna look like that for a little bit, as the collective goes through their dark night of the soul. I feel like you're gonna feel so happy that you dodged that bullet, and yeah, didn't become that person. Yeah, well, it's really hard for people to not follow the crowd. But you did something. You proved something where you didn't follow the crowd enough times that you not only jumped to this timeline, but you also improved like yourself, like evolved enough to kind of um, find pleasure in the simple things. You know how like there's people like people who eat really unhealthy, or who are like um, are kind of addicts and kind of stuck on some sort of bad habit, and it's like their pleasure seeking is like more drugs or more unhealthy foods, and it's like nothing, other things don't appeal to them anymore. It's like, hey, but what if you get like a really nice suite at this wonderful hotel, or you get a free vacation to this nice warm area with a beach and everything, or like this person, like you would totally love them, like they have the same similar interests, you find them attractive, but you don't feel like doing it. You don't feel like going after it because all you want is a drug, or you have a chance to be like it's like if you're addicted to like bad food, and then you finally start getting addicted to healthy food for you. When you change your diet and it's like, oh, you're eating mostly just whole foods, like vegetables and fruits and nuts and meat, and like they're like just real food, and you acquire taste for it, and then you're starting to crave like fruits and vegetables and water instead of like soda and junk food and chips and fast food and stuff. It's like that. Like your pleasure center changes from this gives me pleasure to things that are actually good for me gives me pleasure, including the right people to love. All right, so let's see what you're getting instead. Priorities. Yeah, you get your priorities straight. Attune to the call. Tune in and turn on. As soon as you start doing things like getting happy with the things that are good for you and that are good for mankind, like those two things aren't so different. It's the reason that the high frequency energies include all the same things: eating healthy, having good hygiene, and like doing things that make you happy, that uses your natural skills, talents, abilities, passions. When you get into that high frequency energy, you're tuning into your authentic self, things that are good for you. You naturally want to help other people. You naturally want to be there for your friends and family and your community, your neighbors. And then you get your calling. So when you start like cleaning things up, you'll start getting that higher calling. And I feel like this timeline jump allows you to do that. How? In what way? King of Cups. People who actually care about you on a deeper level. Hold your vision. People who have similar vision as you. People you can work with on that calling that you have for a better world. With the Love card here and the King of Cups, I do feel like whether you're male or female, you do have a partner that comes in terms of love. If you're already partnered up, it feels like a platonic soulmate friend or a business partner, or just someone you can collaborate on with this idea. Because with the calling, your vision, the King of Cups, and priorities, I do feel like this is a soul mission type project. business, side gig, charity, whatever it is for you. Like just something that you feel like, hey, I can do this to help others. And I do feel like if you are single, like I do feel like your partner comes in. This timeline jump is definitely going to bring in a lot of love for people, like divine love, because this is the timeline to 5D energy. So a lot of people are connecting with the divine and connecting with higher level soulmates. So not just like romantic, but also like soul family and platonic soulmate friends. And so it's a very it is like kind of like an age of Aquarius, kind of like hanging out with really, really good friends, whether you know what that's like or not, if you've had that in your life since childhood, young adulthood or not. Because I do feel like there's a lot, I'm getting a lot of nostalgia from people, like, oh, remember what it was like to hang out with friends when we were young. Like, people are missing that. I'm getting that a lot from this reading and this pile. It's like getting that again, but it's genuine, not like fake. Not just people you work with, not just people who are friends of friends that you have to hang out with, or friends you've been so friends with so long for that you just continue being friends with them even though you've gone into a different energy. It feels like real, genuine connections. Yeah. It gives you a lot of happiness to be able to connect. Like, instead of you see this guy looking down and being just like, oh, this life sucks, there's nothing I like here, but I'm just gonna drink my problems away. And then this energy of this woman looking up into the sky, the sun, the divine, and feeling divinely connected and blessed to be living the life that she's living, kind of thing. So this timeline jump for you, pile 2, personally, it's going to help prioritize your life to connect to a higher version of you. Finding pleasure in things that are actually good for you. If you spend too much time watching TV, maybe connecting to books or other activities, creative activities that you can do, things like that. The health thing I mentioned, people, work for sure. I mean, we got some apocalyptic energy, so I feel like the reverse of that is like heaven-like energies, right? So it's going to definitely be like your transition into this 5D energy. I feel like for you, pile 2, like this is a huge personality change. I feel like something was happening right before this like timeline jump. I feel like you might have been going downhill and not realizing it. But after this timeline shift, I feel like, and you might have been feeling this for the past like few weeks, a couple months or something. You might have been feeling like, you were changing for the worse, but not for the better. I feel like Spirit was just trying to give you like a glimpse of what the other timeline would have looked like for you. Because I feel like it's completely changing now. And I feel like you're giving the glimpse of the old timeline while you're wrapping things up and doing some healing work, inner work, and review work. And now you're going to get a glimpse of that better life for you. Nice sunny days, more opportunities, feeling good with anything you do during that day, not feeling hard on yourself, just feeling like blessed to be able to do whatever it is you do every day. All right, pile 2. So I hope you enjoyed the reading. If you did, if you liked it, resonated, please leave me a like or comment. I know this is like a lot. I didn't I didn't expect Spirit to bring up this topic and go into it this deep, but I'm a servant of the light, so if this is what Spirit wants me to do, if this is what Source Energy wants me to do, I will do it for the highest and best good of all. So I hope this helped, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day, and I wish you so much love and light. Hi, beautiful pile 3. We're looking at the collective energy for this timeline jump of what the collective just luckily missed, and then what is happening that's great instead of that. You can listen to all the piles, collective energies, if you want to get a good idea of what this timeline shift was overall. But this is just a slice of it, the slice that you might find most interesting or applies to your life the best. If you want a little, glimpse into what this timeline shift was for others too. All right, so let's see what we missed. Okay, sorrow in reverse. Yeah. And I've talked about this in other piles for the collective energy, but there's going to be some dark night of the soul happening on a collective level for those that are going through awakening. People who are already awakened and further along in their journeys won't have to go through it again with the collective, but have to give the collective space in order to go through that dark night of the soul together, which they chose to go through together, and they'll be able to support each other. We don't have to support them. We don't have to go through it unless they come to us individually, one-on-one, like people or just people who might cross your path here and there. If they ask for help, you can help them and guide them, assist them. But besides that, the collective energy is meant to kind of go through this. They chose to do it. Dreams. Vivid dreaming, dream messages, dream teaching. I'm just saying. So I do feel like the collective are going to be going through kind of like a, what's it called? Like when everyone goes through like a similar psychosis to get all together? I just heard the word. Like mass delusion. Is that what it is? Mass hysteria. That's what it is. All right, so everyone's going to be freaking out and everyone's going to be feeling each other's energies, and that's kind of like helpful in a way because people are dealing with such big, heavy, collective group kind of hurt. So we can see that with like the racism, the sexism, the socioeconomic differences, those are like the main ones I can think of, and people who are like from different backgrounds and different ways of life. Like you can see that like there's going to be a massive healing, and people are going to be kind of shouldering this pain and hurt together. So it's going to be easier to absolve and kind of clear and purge and heal, because it's such a big topic that they need to do it in a group to kind of clear it for the group. A lot of us individually who have awakened on our spiritual journey, to our journey of self-awareness and self-mastery. I keep calling it a spiritual journey, but it's just kind of like, like a self-awareness journey. You've already kind of realized that if you're angry at anyone, if you have triggers, if you have traumas or bad past experiences, like it's going to come up, and you kind of have to figure out how to be okay with it and heal it and understand it and then move on from it. And so you can see that there's a lot of people who are just angry, crazy, mad, depressed, and unable to handle this healing in healthy ways. They're not looking for tools. They're not looking for help. They're not looking for understanding. They just want to yell and shout like toddlers, right? Because their emotional age is young, and their spiritual maturity is also very non-existent, so like you're gonna see that there's gonna be a lot of people in groups, and I'm getting it's not just like, it's not gonna be groups based on different backgrounds or different problems. It's gonna be people who are gonna collectively heal together on all these different things. But people who have gone through this awakening individually, you've already done that by yourself, in regards to all these difficult topics. So do not envy them, but they are going to go through, they're going to have a deep connection to each other, because they're going to be like having like, it's not mass hysteria, but like mass visions, You know, they're gonna be having the same dreams. Like, it might be like for like the huge percent of the collective that's like, I had a dream where this energy came to me and said, you know, this is how you get through this. And everyone's gonna be like, oh my goodness, I had a similar dream. Like, oh, I was there. Like, blah, 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 blah. So I feel like a lot of people are gonna have similar signs, synchronicities, visions, and dreams from source energy. It's an easy way to connect to like a bunch of people at once. And like, because like, you know, this collective chose to go through it together, and this is the Great Awakening. This is where massive awakenings are happening at the same time, and so it's just kind of easier to kind of give everyone the same signs, synchronicities, and they're all connecting with each other subconsciously, telepathically. So like, it's easier to kind of have everyone kind of connect with each other and go through a healing together when they're kind of seeing similar visions and dreams and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm getting like, you're not sorry that you're missing out on that, because it is it's magical for them because they've never experienced that. We've experienced it on an individual level, so it wouldn't seem magical to us. It would just be kind of like, yeah, well, duh. We just get annoyed and frustrated that they don't get it, you know. So what would it look like? Yeah, Eight of Pentacles. They're all working together. The Phoenix for to transform and stuff. So we know the light workers are kind of being asked to just keep their frequency high and let the collective do this. I feel like a lot of light workers are going to be kind of like slightly annoyed with people kind of finally waking up, because it's like, it's going to happen faster for them and easier for them because they have a lot of resources. They have each other. They're not doing it alone. And so they're going to get it quicker. And they're not going to have to go through it as difficult as you did and other light workers who are on earlier waves. And so a lot of light workers, while they're still kind of stepping out of the 3D and still have that, you know, bit of humanness in them, are going to be like very frustrated and annoyed. It's like, why didn't you know? Why didn't you believe me? Why didn't you like trust me? Why didn't you listen to me? Or, yeah, obviously like this kind of dream means this, or this kind of symbol means this. Like, obviously, like, these are the mistakes that you had to learn from. These are the things you kept repeating. Like, it's gonna be so obvious to you that it's gonna be very annoying to be around people who are just getting it. I think that might be another reason Spirit is keeping light workers away from the rest of the collective. Not only to keep the frequency high for themselves, for other people, but also for themselves. So while they're going through that, you're working on the next thing, which is your like project, your soul mission, what you want to manifest into the physical. So I had a lot of downloads about how the lower chakras were kind of blocked for a lot of spiritual people, why they spent a lot of time in the higher chakras. And now that they're very clear and healed, and you want to spend more time in your balanced in your physical and higher chakras, like the lower chakras are being healed, specifically the sacral, the root chakra, and the earth star chakra. And you're also getting connected to like the higher chakras and beyond. So it's kind of like you're ready to kind of download major visions and manifestations in the physical. So that's what I'm thinking you're going to get prepared to. But let's see what Spirit says that is happening with the collective instead of this timeline for you. 9 of Clouds, anxiety. And the Call. Honor the whisper of your soul. Okay, and they both came out in reverse. So I feel like you know your calling. And now like the clouds have dissipated. It's so very clear. So a lot of light workers are going to be like, this is my calling. I've always known it. It's gonna have a really guttural gut feeling that like, oh my goodness, this is it. This is what I was meant to do. You're gonna have access to your dreams, your biggest goals, your biggest aspirations, your biggest soul mission. Everything's going to clear out for you. How are you going to get the resources? Where do you even start? Who are you going to help? Who can help you? What are the first few steps? What comes after that? What is the goal for this? How will it work into society? Everything is going to be made so clear to light workers. It's like you're just kind of given the job, and everything, all the instructions and how to move forward, all the steps are there. There's definitely people that you can collaborate with and work with and figure out how to move forward. The tasks are very obvious and easy for you to follow and to you understand all the inner workings of it. You have time to kind of figure out how everything works while you kind of given the first initial tasks. The first initial tasks are seemingly just like paperwork that's like easy to do while you're getting to know that your other people that you're going to be working with, while you get to know this soul mission a little bit better, while you're getting to get to know the ins and out of this new company or new business or new soul mission project or whatever it is. And then it's going to make sense, like the mission statement for whatever soul mission you're on, what comes next and what does it look like, and how you're going to collaborate, how you can use more of your intuition and creativity in this line of work, and how perfect it is for you. Okay, so what would it look like in the physical? Justice card. In reverse, good karma. Everything you worked on comes back to help you. Everything you went through, learned, even the smallest of skills, to your biggest risks that you took in life, everything comes back to help you in this grand lifetime dream opportunity. Nothing is yet set in stone. The thing is, you get to be you get to be a co-creator of this. So you have a vision of where this is, how it's going to help. You're a part of this team, that you are going to produce something. Your team, you are, your company, your business, your project, your charity, whatever, nonprofit, you are part of that team. You are going to be creating this thing for the collective, for society, for the neighborhood, for whatever, for this group. But how you get from point A to point Z is the fun part. Is you to collaborate with other divine souls who are also very connected, because the rest of the collective is going to be going through their healing process while you work with other people who have been on their spiritual journey. They're not part of this great, collective great awakening that is kind of on the next step. And we're all kind of going through this great awakening. It's the same energy, it affects different people differently though. So there's the majority of the people on the planet that are going to be going through this awakening. And then there's a very small percentage who have gone through this awakening by themselves already and are far along enough on the spiritual journey that can work on the next thing, which is going to be setting up this new system, the new world, that will work with the new vision we have as a collective for our home. So that's the fun part. You get to start on that already. You get to start to work on that with people who are like-minded, with a new workforce, whatever that is for you, a new business, new group, whatever. And that's the exciting part, because you are definitely part of this. You will get paid. You're a part of this team. You are going to make this legacy status, grand contribution to the world. But the fun part is your ideas and how you make it happen and seeing it come to life. So it's nothing is set in stone except the fact it's going to happen. Everything else, it's kind of you co-create with source energy, right? You are meant to go through some specific main points in your life, but how you get there and the way that you do get there is up to you. So that's kind of what I'm getting here. Okay, let me see if I can pull a couple of... Nest. An emotionally secure, loving family is important to you. So I do feel like soul family is coming in. You're going to be working with soul family. That's like the big thing for the collective. Light workers especially, because a lot of light workers have gone on their journey solo or mostly solo, connecting with people here and there, but like for the majority of the time, excruciatingly solo. And key, successful outcome to your problems. It's going to be so kind of crazy with the 9 of Swords here, how much clarity, truth comes in for you, how much everything is laid out for you. Everything is kind of like comes together, and it's like gonna, like for light workers specifically that have been on this journey, like it is like you're free, you can breathe, you have a knowing, everything makes sense, everything is as if you were predicting it, envisioning it. It's finally here, you get to finally live that life. It's done, deal, and it's amazing. You just kind of have to now enjoy it. All right, so pile 3, I hope you enjoy the collective portion of this reading, the first part. You can definitely watch the pile 3, the second portion of this reading, for the personal level of how this timeline jump is going to personally affect you. Or you can pick a different pile if you want to. If I don't see you in the next section, I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day, and I wish you much love and light. Hi, beautiful pile 3. This is a personal reading, the personal level energies for this timeline shift, and what you just luckily skipped out on and what you're getting instead. And so let's jump right into it. What did you luckily skip out on from this timeline shift? If you stayed on that other timeline, what would have happened? Book, so research, secret, and 11th house, friends, like-minded groups. Okay, so if you stayed on that other timeline, you would have still been hidden from your soul family, like-minded friends and groups, and humanitarian, like people who have the same humanitarian ideas as you, dreams as you, goals as you, and even opportunities to meet more of these people or to be in this kind of work. So if I feel like if you stayed in that other timeline, you would have kind of felt like, oh, but I thought that this is the way that life was going. I thought that we were going to go into a 5D timeline where I would, meet like-minded people and work with them for a good humanitarian cause. And it just would have never happened. It would have, what would it have looked like? 7 of Pentacles, the snake. Yeah. I feel like the dark forces would have kind of taken over and given you kind of like busy work, so you were too busy to go find like-minded people. They would have put people who aren't good for you into your life, always kind of talking behind your back, sneakily taking your energy from you, giving you work that wasn't purposeful and kind of repetitive, very boring, and keeping you stuck. So you would have been kept stuck in a loop where you would have been always kind of like, oh, well, I thought we were gonna make moves here. Like I thought I was gonna find like-minded people and find the right vocation for me, a high frequency vocation. But I feels like I'm just staying here doing the same kind of work that doesn't even resonate me. It just seems like nothing work, busy work, or for someone I don't even like, or for a cause that I'm not even behind. Yeah, like where is this? Where is everybody? Where is this opportunity? So I feel like that's what you skipped, pile 3. Luckily skipped out on, because a lot of, not many, but there's some folks that like where my baby kind of being guided to kind of like, this is coming, this is coming, this is coming, and then it never comes. And then like things go in a different direction, and that's if you didn't go on this timeline. I feel like the people who, like, if you were stuck on that timeline, I don't think it would have gone to a negative place. I think you would have just like lived out your life. And things like you would have been changed. Like, there's a lot of talk about people who aren't coming with on this timeline, who didn't make it on this timeline, or who are not coming with us on this higher frequency timeline, this 5D timeline. They're going to be brought to a different planet or a different lifetime where they can continue what they were doing, with other folks, other souls who chose not to come on this timeline either. So I think the energy would have been still there, where it just feels like, why? It just feels like this was supposed to happen. This was supposed to happen, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen. And you would have just kind of switched gears. You would have changed your like what you were meant to do in that lifetime. But you didn't. You switched timelines, luckily, and you're here. So what are you getting instead of this? Ascension. Yeah, that's awesome. So you're definitely coming into the 5D world. You're ascending. Your energies are becoming in higher and higher in its frequency. You're in great company. Yes, see? Pull back to propel forward. Because I feel like you might have been feeling like, even with this timeline jump, it's like, why are people like falling away? And it's like, there's some people who are choosing not to come on this timeline. There's some people who made that decision a long time ago. Maybe some people were born here making that decision. Some people made that decision recently in the past like decade or two, that they don't want to come onto this new timeline, that they still want their soul to grow in a lower frequency. But yeah, you chose to kind of move forward. And I feel like even if you chose to move forward from birth or from recent experiences, the recent years, I feel like you still had people kind of falling away from your life. And that was just because you were getting ready. Your soul was being prepped for you to have people who resonate with you very, very deeply. Like, more deeply than you've ever imagined in your entire life, more deeply than any connection you really had in this 3D lifetime. So that's why like Spirit's like, oh, you're being pulled back a little bit before you're propelled forward, because it's like you're taking like that little dip in energy, almost to say goodbye. I'm hearing goodbye to people, places, and things that might not be coming with. And what you're getting as these friends, like-minded groups, and people who have similar beliefs. Okay, what will this kind of look like? 3 of Wands, like a huge certainty that this is the right way to go. The 21 of the world also equals a 3. And we have a 3 here for your pile number. So you can see that 333, you're being guided forward. I feel like the exciting thing for this pile specifically is that it's all exciting, it's all new. Spirit's like not being like, hey, you're gonna get this or that in your life right now. It's more like you're just being guided forward. I think that's all you needed, pile 3, is just like knowing that you're moving forward and knowing what's ahead. Like, I feel like there's like a real uncomfortableness for a long time while things fell away, of like, I have to know that this is happening for a good reason. I have to know what's happening. Like, you know, that's why people watch tarot card readings, right? Because they want to know what's happening, what might happen in the future. People need to know, not think, not believe. People want to know, right? That's our physical 3D side. So you had a lot of faith. You had a lot of 5D energies while you were in the 3D, that everything was happening for a good reason, that things that were not resonating for you or no longer serving you for your highest and best good were falling away. And now as you step into the more 5D energies, you're getting the knowing because you had the faith, and now you're getting the knowing, you're getting proof, you're getting evidence, you're seeing facts, you're seeing the itinerary, divine's plan for you, itinerary. So you feel like such a relief from your body, from your mind, you less stress. I feel like even like tension that might be on your shoulders and back. A lot of people are experiencing a lot of, there's a timeless reading, but whenever you're watching this, it's like a time that like you might be transitioning and having this timeline jump. A lot of people are feeling soreness on their shoulders and all different places of their back, because the back and the shoulders are where you carry a lot of that burdensome energy from the past, and as you release it, you're gonna feel like it come through. So like, yeah, you're gonna get a lot of knowing of what's to come in your next chapter, the next few steps. Conclusions are within reach. I love that. The 3 of Wands, I like all these trees here. It's like you're not just getting the 3 of Wands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're getting so much more clarity on so many different things in different areas of your life. It's going to give you so much confidence and just blissful energies, knowing that everything's like set and settled. You know, when you have been kind of, it feels like you've been walking on a tightrope for such a long time, and you're just like, I just need to know I can get to the other side. Like, how long have you been on that tightrope? You know, just a balancing act, feeling like you can fall at any times, holding on for dear life, feeling confident that you can put one foot in front of the other, feeling confident that if you fall, you can get back up, you know, that you can hold on, you can catch yourself on the rope and get back on. Sometimes you were just kind of like crawling on the tightrope, like sometimes there are so many times where you could not see the end, but you knew there was an end because the rope is tied to something. So you just kept going and going in the darkness, sometimes trusting that there is that end. And now you can see the end is in sight. And not only that, but you can start seeing what's beyond that end of that tightrope. Beyond the end of that, you can see beyond the light of the end of the tunnel. You can see like what the land looks like and what's to come and what's available and all the opportunities. It's getting you very, very excited. And it's going to get you like, before you get even excited, you're just going to feel like a huge relief, right? You've been on this tightrope for so long. You've been in that anxious, 3D, chaotic, negative, dark energies attacking, things going wrong left and right, going through many different experiences, life, so many struggles, so much energy, being energy sensitive, picking up on other people's energies, feeling what's happening in the collective, just so many different types of energies. Your body was like picking up so many signals, and it was like kind of crazy at times, right? You're gonna feel so much relief from your physical body, your emotional body, you know, it's your energetic body, your aura. You're gonna feel a calm and serene peace like you have never felt before. And then you'll start feeling excited. But at first, it's kind of like when you finally feel that like absence of energies kind of annoying you, attacking you, disturbing you, distracting you, and you just go into that 5D energy, the first thing you feel is relief, and you just want to enjoy that for a moment, that peace, before we start getting excited for, you know, all the rides here on 5D. So, yeah, Pile 3, I hope you enjoyed your reading. Hope this gets you excited for what's to come from this timeline shift. I know it might have looked not so pretty, or it might have been kind of confusing towards the end of that timeline jump, but you know where it's all leading. You know you're on the right timeline, the highest and best timeline for yourself, and it's the peace is coming. The good feels are coming. They're here. All right, pause for 3. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If you did, I really appreciate a like or comment. And with that, I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day. And I wish you much love and light.